Welcome back to Phasmophobia. If you guys could like, comment, and or subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Anything that you could do for the channel will help me put more back into the channel for you. All of that being said, today we're going to continue on with our little series where we go over find ourselves a ghost that we haven't gone over yet anyway. And we look at a Wikipedia of Phasmophobia and read out basically all the details of the ghost, try to showcase information that we can find about them. And try to avoid the anecdotal evidence and go more for the facts about the ghosts. So, all that being said, let's do this. Alright, now let's hope we can find one that we don't already have. So we're doing this on amateur. That gives us a 5-minute setup timer. Our sanity drain speed is at the minimum possible. We get activity and sanity monitor. We get to see the break location on the map, which in this instance is in the basement of Tanglewood. We're not going to worry about going for perfect investigation. We just want to figure out what kind of ghost we're going to get and showcase their information. Kind of forgot I need to set up my phone because I only have one monitor. Unlock. We could do that later. Let's figure out what ghost we have first. Don't undo all this. Figure out, I already went over this ghost and then have to do all this over again. So we have our headlights that is going to be serving as our flashlight during this. I think I picked up a lighter. There we go. We're going to go with an EMF meter, thermal, and an ultraviolet. And yeah, so on amateur, the breaker already starts on. So we're going to basically just go in, try to keep our ears open, and listen for any throws or anything that noise that the ghost might make. We'll take a look around and see. Hello, ghosty. Should give me, yeah, okay, it gives me that. Didn't touch anything. Kind of interesting to have that right off the bat, an amateur. EMF 4, that definitely could have maybe supposed to have been an EMF 5. Not sure. Was in the middle of talking, I completely forgot where I was. So yeah, we're going to look around for the bone. Main objective is going to be finding the ghost room and getting all the evidence as quickly as possible. Next, we don't even care about the bone. We do have the monkey's paw for our cursed possession. That is important. I don't believe any of the ghosts have any unique... Actually, no, the shade has a... the ghost is in the children's bedroom. The shade has a unique interaction with cursed possessions as... I think that makes you teleport, right? Or you just laugh? You just laughed, okay. Using the summoning circle, if you have a shade, it'll be, I believe, invisible. 15 versus 20. Yeah, I call this probably the ghost room. Done everything but touch anything useful for me, right? As usual. Turned off the breaker, you dick. Oh no, you busted lights. Still a dick, but... I mean, I could definitely turn that light on. We found the ghost room for the moment. Got 3 evidence items in there so far. We'll do a couple hauls to get the rest of the evidence items in there. And then we might get some supporting evidence items such as salt, motion sensors, probably crucifixes just to stay alive. It tends to help benefit your investigation if you know, live through it. Let's see. This is set up to use... there we go, that's the one I want to use. And now you are working. Cool. Now, are you here? Are you close? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Spirit box, alright. Get this guy set up here too. Spirit box and ghost writing. I think we've had a couple of these so far, but we'll see what we end up with. We're still waiting for that one last piece of evidence. How cold is it getting? Something else gets thrown over here too. Like going through the wall a little bit. Oh, there's something over here. Probably one of the shoes. Alright, so we already got 2 pieces of evidence right off the bat. We'll get the last of our evidence items, which I believe is just the video cam, yes? Yes, it is. Alright, so we'll grab that guy. Wouldn't be a bad... we still have our setup timer. Well, I'll still grab the incense anyway. I don't think our sanity technically drains unless... we interact with an event. I guess we'll also grab a crucifix. Not that I'm worried about it trying to kill me, but especially if I end up using a monkey's paw, it'd be nice to not have to avoid death. At the range on this thing is actually massive. Could probably just let it there. And we have, that was a ghost orb. Yes, it was. Go ahead and mark that down. That is a mare. Let me check my little thing here. We have not done a mare yet. Awesome. I'm getting lucky with that. Alright, so we can shut off some of these guys. Yeah, doesn't matter to shut them all off, but they're annoying. Alright, so what do we want to do for mare? Well, first things first, let's go ahead and walk outside of the house. We'll pull up a mare on... I'm actually going to pull this up on my computer so you guys can see what I'm seeing as I go through it. Maybe that'll work for us today. Be quick with it. Gotta avoid the ads. Avoid the ads. My God, they're everywhere. Alright. No, just give me the ghost. Why is this being such a pain in the ass? Did I just scroll down a bit? Oh, there's our list of ghosts. It's about a third of the way down the page. Alright, so we got a mare. So we'll go ahead and hit that one. And I think I have to deal with these ads every time. I'm used to doing this on the phones and everything's reorganized. This might be helpful, though. So the evidence for the mare is, of course, ghost orbs, ghost writing, and spirit box. Their abilities is to turn off lights and break light bulbs more often than other ghosts. And they may turn off a light immediately after a player turns one on. This can also be mimicked by any other ghost just by pure chance, but generally as soon as you turn on a light switch, it'll turn it off within half a second after that. And it generally chooses unlit rooms to remain in more often. So if you're keeping the light on in the ghost room, it may roam out of there. It's not that that's a mechanic, it's that that's a effect of the mechanic. Let's see. Ads, why not? How wonderful the ghost touching doors. Let's see, a lot of this is just, some of this is fine. Other parts of the wiki you want to avoid is like this one. This is what's written in the book, in the journal. Generally, that's not really useful information, actually. So activity, mares cannot interact with lights to turn them on, and they are more likely to choose turning off lights as an interaction. So they're physically unable to turn on a light. So if you have a ghost turn on a light ever, you can rule out mare. The mare does not have any affinity with computer monitors, televisions. Bleasdale Farmhouse's motion sensors. Well, that's nice if that was updated. And the fuse box. And can turn them on or off like any other ghosts. Okay, so if you see it turning on the computer light or the television, that has nothing to do with the mare. When the mare roams, it is more likely to choose an unlit room to roam into than a lit room, and therefore has a higher chance to change its favorite room if the current one is a lit room. So if you keep the light on in the ghost room when you're trying to get your evidence, it may just leave that room. The mare has a higher chance of performing light-shattering ghost events over other types, as well as disable the lights, making it easier to hunt. If a player turns on a light that is within 4 meters of a mare, there's a small chance of turning the light off almost immediately. I'd say within half a second you could get pretty safely bet. Get to be careful with that, as if the ghost is doing an interaction immediately after you turn a light on, then it'll generally turn the light off to do the interaction. That will not be significant to the mare. Each light has a minimum cooldown per player of 10 seconds after it has been turned on or off, and interacting with the light again before the cooldown ends will restart it and cancel the mare's attempt to use this ability. So if you keep sitting there spamming the light switch, it keeps resetting the cooldown, is the way that sounds as it's worded. But similar to Salt and Dead Body Photos, each player has their own cooldown. So if you go up, touch the light switch, turn it on, nothing happens for a second, you can go ahead, turn it off, and then another player can walk in, turn it on, have nothing happen for a second, turn it off. So if you do that and you wait 2 seconds each time before you turn it off or before another player touches it, with 4 players, and every 8 seconds, essentially, you'll be able to cycle through. The ability will also work during, oh no, skipping ahead a bit. The Mare can also use this ability even if the fuse box is turned off or broken, but not if the light is shattered. Oh, not if the light is shattered. And the ability also works during the ghost event. So if the ghost shatters a light, you can't use that light switch to test for the Mare ability. That's what that's saying. That is interesting. The chance of the ability happening is dependent on sanity. The lower the average sanity, the less likely it will happen. Wait, the lower this average sanity, the less likely it will happen. It's likely that this is unintended, but that's still pretty interesting. So you're more likely to get the Mare light switch flick ability when you're at higher sanity. A Mare has a modified hunt sanity threshold depending on whether the room is currently lit. If the lights are turned off, the hunt sanity threshold is increased to 60%, and if the lights are turned on, the sanity is decreased to... Wait. It sounds like this should be backwards. Oh, no, that's your sanity. So if the lights are on, you have to be... Yeah, so if you're at 60% sanity or lower, and the lights are off, then the ghost can hunt. And if the lights are on, and you have to be at 40% sanity or lower, so about a Metroid. This applies even if the fuse box is turned off or broken, but not if the room's lights are destroyed. So if it destroys the lights, then you cannot use that room for any of the Mare's abilities. Other sources of lights, such as brought-in equipment and firelights, do not affect this threshold, or even the Mare in general. This is the stuff we were talking about before. Here's some strategies that you can actually go through and use. Those will be anecdotal for the most part. And identification, it's the only ghost is generally one of the more difficult ghosts to identify based on behavior, though one can look for the following, which is its light abilities. They prefer light shattering events. They turn a light off the moment a player turns it on. The ghost will hunt earlier in a dark room than a lit room. And if you keep the lights near the ghost on, then it will generally roam away from the room. So if you constantly have the ghost changing rooms, try to keep the lights off and see if it continues that behavior. And then to have some trivia based off of, and some history based off of the updates to the game. Awesome. So now we will click this one. No, this one. This one. Oh, I have to hide that. There we go. Well, God only knows what the hell was just happening there. Hopefully that worked out well for the recording. Alright, so we're back into the game then. So we'll try to showcase the ghost turning off the light immediately after turning it on. Our sanity is still 90%. And my headlight and this flashlight will not be affected by the Mare's abilities, and they will not affect the Mare's abilities. Also, because the breaker's turned off, I can leave the light switch on. So like this one's broken, so that won't be affected by the Mare. But I can turn this light switch on. The room is not lit, so the ghost is not going to leave the room. That's probably a rather useful tidbit. But if the ghost breaks this light, then it would be screwed. Which it might have broke it while I haven't been in here. So I should go turn on the breaker and find out. Bone? Bone? No bone zone? Oh, by the way, I've seen a bone on the stairs on this map before, so if you're ever having a hard time finding it, really gotta check the nooks and crannies. Alright, so this light is still on. Nice. It's not broken, which means we can use it for testing for the Mare's abilities. Running down there and running back up is probably 10 seconds. Alright, so that was not an ability, that was just me. So leave it off, that way the, well, during the cooldown, that way the Mare won't roam out of the room and will remain having this as its favorite room. I forgot about the video cam. I was throwing a lot of stuff in here. I think what I'm going to do for this is I actually couldn't do that. So I'm just going to have to keep a mental count. I'm pretty sure that's been 10 seconds now. No ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a couple extra just in case. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a couple extra just in case. Okay, and I'm actually gonna set my timer and count down 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so oh, that was a Mare ability. Yeah, there's no ghost event occurring. And there's EMF on the light switch. Cool. So that was the Mare ability. That's basically what it does. That, and it'll do the light breaking events more often, like it did when I walked straight into the house. Awesome. So I was counting a little bit too quick there, which is why I probably didn't do it the first few times. That's not a guaranteed thing. They didn't really talk about it in the wiki, but I don't know what the chances of it happening are. I think it might be something like 10 to 20%. So you kind of got to go through it a few dozen times just to really make sure it's not going to happen. But the nice part about it is, especially if you may suspect, like I should have, when you walked right in the house and you have a ghost doing a light-breaking event, once you find the ghost room, just on occasion, make sure you turn off the light for more than about 10 seconds and then turn it on. Give it a couple seconds, see if it touches the light switch at all, and then if not, turn off the light or turn the light back on and do it again, and just kind of keep testing for the Mare ability. So there's definitely a Mare. We don't need to worry about the rest of that stuff. Let's go verify that this is absolutely a Mare. We know based off of this information here. Let's see that, like 230 bucks. I think it is 200. Ah. I think if I got the bone, it would have been 230. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Maybe you could learn me something down in the comments below. If you could like, comment, and or subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Anything that you could do for the channel will help me put more back into the channel for you. All of that being said, I'll see you next time. Have a good one.